the miracle, doc, they counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family that bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Night CrossFit Talk on a Saturday night. Hope you're here for the start of college football season. That's where we're going to break down the Penn State-West Virginia game. No, not really. We are here to talk Masters. It was day 3 in Birmingham, Alabama. It was cut day at the end of the third event today. Half the field got cut. And so little drama there. I got to talk to a few athletes who were done. Most of the athletes in that cut area did not expect to make it beyond that. And many of them had tears of joy as of what they accomplished, getting there and being able to compete at the CrossFit Games. And we got some of that for the behind the scenes on video, which is really cool, and can't wait to share that. So Carolyn, you watched the live stream. I was stuck in the back room most of the day. So you're going to have to be my eyes and ears as to what happened on the floor. But we had 3 events, and it started with the good old standard.
Yeah. I mean, this is a classic CrossFit event, and it was really fun to watch. I was so impressed by Will Morad, who went sub 8, I think, in that one. And he's just on fire this weekend. Like, this is one I knew he would do well, but he's also surprised me, like yesterday with the Echo Bike one. Like, he's not one of the bigger guys there, but he obviously has great capacity, and he's been very, very impressive this weekend. On the female side, I think it was Nisler, if I'm not mistaken, that had won that one. Let me double check.
It's a safe bet to say she won that one because
I think she won most things today, but yeah, so she won that one just under sub 10. Like, most of the men finished that workout. About half of the female finished that one for the 35 to 39. Maybe 5 or 6 of the females for the 40 to 45. And then I think one female with the adjusted reps on, I think they go to 25 reps, like in the 45 to 49. I think it was just Val that finished that one. So definitely a little bit different of a not different of a workout, but the men's field just are finishing most of the workouts, and you're getting lucky if half of the field on the women's side is finishing some of these workouts. So some of the time caps have been a little bit tighter on the female side for sure. But that was a fun one to watch. I would have liked to have done that event. I like that one.
If you're a fan of the show, our very own Jamie Latimer definitely did better than she thought she would do on that event. She came off the muscle ups about a minute ahead of where her plan was and her practice was. So with that, she got the sense that she had a shot to finish.
Yeah.
She came so stinking close.
Yeah, it's like an extra minute would have made a big difference. Like, there was a lot of females like in the 35 to 39 within that like 11 to 12, and some of them just, they just needed another minute extra. I just felt like that 12 was just cutting that field a little bit shy. But yeah, Jamie got top 10 on that one. 8th. Let me see.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 8th place.
She was just excited about her performance there. That's what she was talking about.
And we know she's going through it. Like, her shoulder's been taped up all weekend, and so ring muscle up is not a move that you want to do when you have any type of shoulder issues. So for her to, snatch, ring muscle up, and then the clean and jerk, that's a lot on the shoulders. So yeah, that's a great finish for her.
Yeah, and her grace looked great. Mm-hmm. Like, really great. So awesome there. A lot of people look great. Val Vobril has been looking good all day.
She's a stud.
Really extended her lead in the 45 to 49. Andrea Nisler is just what she's doing. We've talked about last night. She had a baby in March, mid-March, and she is obliterating the expectations of what postpartum means for some people. And that is, it's crazy.
It's nuts. It's not the norm. Definitely not the norm. Val took a hit on that last front squat one though. She's in third place right now. So actually, Canadian friend Deanna Posey is in first place right now. So
yeah, I know Kelly Friel had fallen back.
Well, Kelly's in second and Val's in third. So
Kelly was in third, moved up to second. Deanna moved up to first. Val drops to third.
Yeah,
but tomorrow's workout is a very Val workout.
Yeah, there's still. I mean, Val's got 736 points, and Deanna, who's in first, has 756. So you got 20 points there. How many events tomorrow? 2 events left. So still some points, but yeah. So it's gonna be a good finish. That's for sure.
CrossFit says, I think this is 100 times more than I've paid attention to Masters in the moment compared to any other year.
Same here. The fact that they're separated, I've been able to appreciate all of the divisions and Masters way more than I would when the individuals are competing at the games.
I agree. I think that part is cool if they wouldn't put the teens and the Masters on at the same weekend.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later because I think there's a lot of reasons why that needs to change. Not just, I think that it's hurting the sport in some ways. So CrossFit also asked, does Andrea make another go as an Indy next year? I don't think she ever wanted to be an Indy athlete. And she just did this year for fun because she was having a baby. Like all this is a surprise to her.
Yeah. It's hard to know also, like things change every year, programming wise, or just where you are at in life. Like as her kid gets older, she might, just want to be like even more involved as like the baby's able to do more, so it's just hard to know what she'll want to do. Does she have the ability to go individual? Absolutely. Like she's a stud. She's so good. So it'll just be where, what she wants to do. But she's crushing it.
Yeah. You mentioned Will Morad killing it. The men on the 40 to 44, Jonathan Edel, I think is the guy in the lead. He won by 90 seconds.
Wow. That's a big win.
And I think he may have beaten Will Morad's time.
Jonathan?
Yeah, that's it. Jonathan Edel.
On which workout?
The standard?
No,
I was wrong.
No, he got 10 minutes and Will was sub 8. So 2 minutes.
Okay.
No, Will had the top time of the day. No one's touching Will's time on that one. Yeah,
So I talked to Will.
7:41.
Jeez. So I talked to Will today in the back. I'm not going to say what we talked about because it's a really good piece that I want to be in the behind the scenes. But man, what a perspective that dude has right now. And it's really cool.
Is he fully healthy right now? He looks obviously fully healthy, but like, does he still have like anything from is it hip flexor or hip?
It's something in the hip.
Okay.
I don't think it's 100%. Again, I don't want to give too much away because he talks about all of that in the behind the scenes.
Well, he got a 24th on the lift. So I would assume if something was to bother him, it might be like a heavy front squat, right?
Anything squatting is painful.
Yeah. So he took a little bit of a decrease in that workout. But I mean, he had such a huge lead. He still has almost 100-point lead. Like he has 97-point lead with 2 events to go. So he's pulling a Tia going into the final day right now is what it's looking like.
Well, there's only 1 event to go. He's got it locked up, right? Like
It's 2 events to go.
What? There's only 1.
They only have 1 on Sunday?
Yeah.
No, they've done 8 events. Don't they have 10 events?
They did 9 today. 9 was the front squat.
Oh, that's right. They are 9. Yeah, 1 event to go. So yeah, he's Tia Claire to me right now, going into the final event.
Yeah, it's cool for him. Like he's been around a long time. He's put in the work.
So only 1 event on Sunday? Like they couldn't have put 2 there?
Yeah, I don't know what it's all done at like noon tomorrow.
It's crazy. Getting people to stay like an extra night for 1 event. It's a lot of money for that.
And I don't know like logistically how that's going to work because today when they didn't have, we talked about the crowds kind of being really good. Today, because not all 3 floors were running at the same time, like some of the floors were just overcrowded because they didn't plan for that amount of that number of people at each floor. And the stands are so small. Like they fill up quickly and the people had no place to go when they're only running 2 floors.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams tonight, because they were running front squats on floor 3, maybe 1, I don't know. And then the main floor with the big rig was teams. It was packed over there just because nobody could get into where the front squat was.
And tomorrow with less athletes competing, maybe they're going to be watching the event for the last day. So you could see the most amount of fans tomorrow, unless some of them go home.
True. I know a lot of people are trying to get out of their hotel room for tomorrow night so they can start back early. If I could do that, I would do it in a heartbeat. But yeah.
Then the second event today, the 8-minute one. The first thing that caught my eye was the difference in the barbells distance. And I, as an athlete, I would think about there's an advantage. At first I was like, okay, there's an advantage on the closer bar. And then I saw that they were making them face the other way. And then we had discussed this privately, even with Jamie, that we felt like the turning around and then twice turning around on the last burpee, you had to go over the bar and then turn and go back to the rig. Like there was just differences in half of the field in terms of the timing in a very quick event. Like this is another event where most of the men finished and wasn't the case on the female side. Like, so again, that quick time cap is hurting the females more so than the men on here. But yeah, that one was super fast. Another fast workout. It looked like the transitions played a factor. I thought it was interesting that they allowed the step over, but if you want to take the judging out of the picture, I guess that's what you can do. Some athletes chose to step over the bar. The faster athletes were doing, staying low to the ground and pushing the burpee pace, jogging to the pull-up bar for the pull-up bar for the toaster bars. Yeah, so I felt like that workout was a lot on the transitions and how much you're being aggressive there, and then just being able to pick up the barbell right away.
Yeah, watching it live, forcing someone to turn twice was not a fair substitute for a little bit shorter lane. Just watching it, I'm telling you, like when someone's faster on the movements, they should be winning the race. But because of the transitions, they were behind.
Yeah. It's like that one year at the games when we had the shoulder to overhead and differences in the blocks. And I was like, this is an advantage for the people that have the closer block, and you didn't have to turn or anything like that. You could just go. It was like an extra rep every time almost. Not for me because mine sucks.
Just think about Think about coming up from your burpee and jumping over the bar and running straight to the rig versus jumping up and over, stopping, turning around, going back over the bar, and then running to the rig.
Mm-hmm.
That is not equitable to 10 feet.
Was it 10 feet? It didn't look like it was 10 feet. It was
I
like
don't know. I'm
5 or
just
something. But
throwing
yeah,
out
I
a
understand what you're
thing
saying.
because
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that it's hard to
and
know.
then running from the rig and just being able to pick up the bar, it was 1 rep. So you didn't have to it was heavy, but you didn't have to set up. And others had to run, jump the bar, turn around, then set up and lift. To do that twice in every round where the
For
other
8
person
rounds.
gets to run straight is not equitable to the
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah, so we ended up saying that the further bar was actually more of an advantage than the closer bar with the 2 turnarounds that they had to do. One on the clean, one on the last burpee to head back. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a crazy race. The other thing that was tough is because it was so many rounds, I think it was 8 rounds, a lot of people, you couldn't tell where they finished.
No.
So from a spectator point of view, it wasn't awesome. But when people were finishing, the race was fun. And again, I think it's your point about the time caps being more appropriate.
Mostly just the female side this weekend. Like the men
Yeah.
has been pretty close to fine the whole way, where most of the field is finishing. Like you're getting 30 athletes finishing out of the 40, which is fine. But you're getting a lot of workouts this weekend in various age groups where 1 to 8 females are finishing versus 30 something for the men. And I get the women are competing against the women, but I don't know. I would like to see more of the females finish the workouts.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think they would have been more exciting finishes because they would have been allowed to finish and you would have seen the run to the end.
Yeah, like it sucks always getting time capped at an event. Like you want it, like your goal is always to finish the workout. So when you get time capped almost every workout, but you're finishing like 12th, like that's not in a field of 40. Like it's not fun.
No. So then they finished up with front squat max. One thing that I found interesting here is if you missed a lift, you had to strip the bar to nothing before you could re-rack it. So you couldn't do it just down to like 135 or 125 and clean it up to the bar. You had to go down to a bare bar to re-rack it.
Yeah. I mean, we saw some great numbers. What impressed me was the numbers in Jamie's division of 40 to 44, sorry, were better than the 35 to 39s at the top. That's crazy. Like you would think with age, like you're not like that shouldn't be a stronger division than the one that's younger. But they had the same top and there was more people at the top with heavier weights all the way into like 17th or 19th place in the 35 to 39. So it sucks for Jamie because she's in a loaded division that just has crazy strength. But yeah, impressive numbers on both the men and female side. I thought Paul Tromba was going to get that 455 there at the end. He was so close, like right at the top, and then boom, just dropped it. But yeah.
CrossFit says caps without timing chips stink. No split times or we end up with log jams at certain reps. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we had a lot of ties too for the weights, for the front squats because there was no like 1 pounders and stuff like that. So sometimes you have 6 or 7 people at the same weight with no tiebreaker on it. So and without the time chips, it's also hard on the finishes. You're relying on split seconds. Like I think I had heard, I think it was Sean or Tommy say that Andrea had lost a couple workouts just by like not even a second over the weekend. And you don't even know if you look back on video, maybe she actually wins. Like you don't know with these stopwatches. That's one of the things I'd like to see change in the future is always some sort of chip system, and the stopwatch is a backup.
Yep. That's how it generally is. The 450 front squat and 35 to 39 by Woodard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Tremblay tried to top it and just couldn't finish.
Honestly, it looked like he had passed his sticking point too. And I thought he was right there, and then, just lost it.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up about Pitt and Masters going in the same weekend is, and I'm not sure people thought about this, but you're diluting the talent pool of the volunteers. So the volunteer judges, when you're at the games, even in the old days with 10 in each Masters group and 10 in the teen division and a full games field, you needed less judges than you needed just the Masters. Now you add Pitt, who's expanded their field, and now you're outside of your normal tub of judges, and you're reaching for new people. And I think that's becoming more and more evident as the weekend goes on. Very inconsistent in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of good judges out there. And when I was a judge, I hated when people dogged us. But when you we have to bring in a whole fresh batch that may have never done it at this level. Like, that's a lot to ask.
It is.
So not only are we diluting the volunteer pool, we're diluting the streams. We're diluting the sponsorships. Like, we're diluting so much of this because they're on the same weekend.
Yeah, I was trying to watch the teens like in between, like, sometimes I'd be like, oh, this heat is ahead, or like, in this amount of time. I'd flip over the teens, rewind quickly to see the teens go, and then come back, and you're playing catch up. It's just hard to have your attention in both comps and try to follow. Like we said, like, we're following the Masters right now more than we've ever done, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we would have followed the teens if it was the same weekend, right? If the teens wanted to go another weekend and we're going to follow the teens, I guess that's fine as well. But both on the same weekend just doesn't work. It's just too hard.
No.
Like the viewership is split in half.
Yeah, Grant, you're late. And we've already talked about Will being a beast and the standard in 740.
Crazy.
Try and catch up. And when you hear the piece where I talk in the behind the scenes, you'll see where I talk to him, the way he talks about it, you're even going to be more blown away.
He didn't even look tired though. Like, he just walked to the finish line and was like, yeah, okay. I mean, if you're trying to compare that standard to the one of the games in 2019, you also can't, because his transitions, like the transitions of the Masters here, are much shorter than the ones that they had to do in 2019. He was, I think, in that final, in those final 10 athletes of 2019, but he had, I think, a pulled hamstring or something that year, if I remember. And I don't know if he got to do it. I think he was injured, but he had made it pretty far. He may have had an injury, but the way the floor was for the standard back then, you had to move your bar up every little bit. Then you had the rigs. I think you had multiple rigs, and then you had the snatches at the end where you moved up. So I think one of the reasons that you were able to see sometime like his time go sub 8:1, he's fit. Like, he's dominating this weekend, but having a smaller floor. So I think it's hard to compare, but super impressive.
But
So
what's lacking from it, and people have said this forever, is like the CrossFit Games is great at telling a story. And if you haven't done that, this floor does not do that. It doesn't tell the story of the event because it's hard to follow who's in first. When barbells don't move for 30 reps, you have no idea what rep people are on. That Echo Bike thing was awesome if they would have had a counter where you could see.
Grub at 48 years old, 830. I think his reps are changed though, aren't they? Or is it just the females that lowered the reps?
I don't know.
I know
Again,
that I know that the females, I think at some point they go to 25 reps instead of 30. I would have to double check that, but that's very impressive.
I have it.
Yeah, they had, so for Grub's division, they had 25. So a little bit different on the reps. You're losing, some reps there.
Yep.
So I think that's hard to compare, but yeah, it's just hard because they got to do the reps basically on the spot, right? So you're just moving for that. There's no moving of the barbell. You can't see where you are in the race. There's nothing at the end of the lane that gives any indication. Like even on the Echo Bike yesterday, that white board that they had, like you still couldn't even see on the stream what number was placed on it. Versus like a colorful thing would have been more useful. I think it would just help also the broadcast team too, right? Like they're doing their best trying to figure out who's in the lead and trying to get the information probably sent to them, but they're making it hard on the broadcast team to know who's in the lead, right? Like because first of all there's a lot of athletes on the floor, 10 and 10. You're looking both ways and you're not seeing any bar progression.
Yeah. I talked to Tommy a little bit today, and he was saying that it's a production they're not really used to because of all the floors. And so with that, they lost a little bit of the information they get during a broadcast. So usually they get stuff pumped into their ears as to what's going on. And I don't think they were getting that fully this weekend. So because the floors changed, and like Tommy and Lauren would call one floor and Chase and Sean were calling another floor, and they couldn't cross paths or whatever. But yeah.
And that must be difficult too, to call the same workout for hours, like all the different heats, all like even just to have two new people come in, like would just, because you could just tell like they're trying not to repeat the same thing, but it's hard. Like you have all those heats that need to come through and you're literally just repeating. Yeah. Like it's difficult. There's a lot of divisions for the Masters, right?
I actually heard from spectators today. They actually like the 3 floors. Because they could switch during the day, back and forth. And so they weren't sitting watching the same event over and over again. They could run over and watch event 7 and then watch event 8 and then go back and get a little bit more 7 and so all right, well, before we go through the leaderboards and kind of tell who's doing what, I'm going to show you one quick clip that I got today for the behind the scenes, just to give you kind of a little preview of what we're looking at. I thought it was a fun clip. So here we go. Hopefully you can hear this.
I can't hear it. There's no volume on my side.
Ah, shoot. All right. So what she's saying there is those red socks she's putting on are her game socks from 2014 that she was issued back then. And and she was wearing them for good luck on the front squat.
Awesome.
And she was wearing her 2015 lifters that she got at the games.
Sometimes it's like that. If you have like a certain shoe that you wore or like outfit, but you can't wear the outfit and you just feel good and you had your PR, you're just trying to get that energy that you had in that moment. So
yeah. And she's only made the games 4 times, but her first couple times were 14 and 15. She made it one other time, and then it's been a while, and she finally made it back. So it was a cool little story.
4 times is a lot. I want to make it 4 times. I mean,
yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. Again, we'll start with the women because they went first all day today, and their stuff is the most complete. And hopefully by the time we get to the end of the men,
everything's complete.
Okay. All right, so we will start with the women 65 plus. And real quick before I read this off, the 70 plus people finished today. This is not the right one. 70 plus finished today. Those athletes were so cool. They were so excited to be there. They were just giddy about being in front of everybody. And they did the award ceremony during the break at the end of the day. And there were a lot of fans there cheering them on as they got their medals. And I thought that was cooler than the other side of the pillow, as they say. Like, I just thought that was really awesome that they got to go up on the podium, get their medals in front of this big crowd. And that was pretty awesome. So I'm going to try this again and hopefully grab the right one this time. There we go. Okay, so women 65 plus. I'm going to blow this up. Patricia McGill, Denise Moore, our very own, and Julie Holt are 1, 2, and 3. Denise Moore did get an event win today in the front squat, and she texted me immediately to tell me she got it and could not be more excited for her to get an event win at the CrossFit Games.
It's looking like that podium is pretty solidified for tomorrow's last event.
Yeah, we have a 42-point lead for Julie Holt and over Sue Lawson for the last podium spot. 1 event to go.
Yeah.
So then we go to women 60 to 65. Lori Mishiznik, I talked to her today. I got how to pronounce her name, and she told me that it is Mishiznik. So now I have it. Betsy Vanderberg, and then Teresina Orisato. But Lori's got a pretty good lead with 1 event to go. It's almost 40 points, 43 points. Betsy has another 30 points on Teresina. So I think we're set at top 2 for sure.
With less in the field, the points are also going to change tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So this workout is going to be worth more separation between the points per finish, which is often a big factor at the end of the weekend. But yeah, like you said, they seem to be separated enough right now. You still could maybe have a little bit of a change on that 2 or 3 position, but
plus Lori and Betsy are so good.
Yeah.
I don't see them falling out of the top 2. Then we go back to 55 to 59. And we have Joanne Cooper, Tiu Maver, and Tia Vesser. Shanna Bunce is right there with Tia. That's going to be a battle. And Rose Wall's even 20 points away from Tia.
Yeah, you could definitely see a fight for that 3rd place. Joanne, I think, has it locked up right there in first, and barring a bad event for number 2, it should be pretty set there. So Joanne's been on the podium a couple times, but I don't think never first. So this would be a big win for her.
Yeah. So Tia Vesser won the games in 21. I think, in the younger division, and Shanna Bunce won Legends this year. So both great athletes. Just not sure they have enough left to make any move. Bruce is asking where Jamie is. Jamie is competing, and we're leaving her alone for the weekend. So then we go to women 50 to 54. And here we have Janet Black, 744, Jen Dieter, 740, Stephanie China, 726.
Even 721. That's close. It's this one's going to be a battle tomorrow. There can certainly be some changes in positioning at the top of the podium tomorrow there.
Jen Dieter won Legends last year. Janet Black, I'm not as familiar with, but man, this is close.
She's been around.
Both great athletes. Then we go to 45 to 49. We talked about this a little bit. Deanna Posey, 756. Kelly Friel, 753. Val Vobrel, 736. Deanna and Kelly are more of a power output type athlete, where Val is more gymnasticsy. So I think that this has been a shuffled leaderboard all weekend long, primarily with those three.
And tomorrow, I feel like that bar muscle up will play a bigger factor than the dumbbell thruster for the female, like being able to do that last 16 unbroken, for instance, versus the dumbbell thruster weight. This is
you could tell in the older divisions, the muscle up on the standard really made a big difference, more so than the barbell.
Yeah.
So I think the same will probably come into play here. Then we go to the 40 to 44-year-old division, where Carly Newlands has kind of taken command of this, and she's already locked up the win. Andrea Pinheiro at 681, Janine Shillington at 669, Carly Matthews at 659. And then our very own Jamie Latimer is in sixth at 629.
Yeah, she had a low finish on the front squat. She would have been right up there normally, but
yeah, she was in the top 4 all weekend until that front squat.
Yeah, she took a hit. Like we said, that division had some huge powerhouses. Like Janine had 285 for a front squat, which was the same winning weight in the 35 to 39 division. Like that's just a great front squat. So that propelled her definitely up the leaderboard. Carleen Matthews is someone else that's been very relevant all weekend, and she also took a hit in the front squat event. So that front squat's it's tough. Even Will Morad, same thing. Like a lot of those top athletes sometimes aren't the strongest, and some of them got really hit with some specialists in this one.
Yeah, I think that Carleen and Jamie will probably do better on that event tomorrow.
Yeah.
Than the people ahead of them. I just don't know if there's enough time, middling, and space to make a difference on the leaderboard.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then we go to 35 to 39, and this is the Andrea Nisler show. There she is. Caroline Klutz has a shot, but it's more like that.
Not on that workout for tomorrow.
Saying there's a chance.
No, there isn't. That's like you before the game saying that everyone had a chance with Tia.
Okay. Touche.
This one's locked in. Andrea with a 50-pound dumbbell thruster. You're looking at one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the field. Plus she's got phenomenal gymnastics. Like this is probably another win for Andrea.
Caroline Klutz is an amazing athlete.
She really is.
Andrea Nisler is doing this to her is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with her.
Mackenzie Riley has jumped up into the podium position. Again, if you don't know who she is, multiple time games athlete. No joke. This division is crazy. And there are shots
and mother of two.
True. She has kids with her here doing it all. It's amazing. All right, so let's go to let's go to the men.
I would think that the same people that did well in the standard will do well in the one tomorrow. Like you got ring muscle ups and bar muscle ups, and then you have a dumbbell thruster versus the clean and jerk or snatch. Like it's very, very similar. It's gonna be maybe a little bit more of a sprint, but yeah.
Yeah, in the 65 plus, we have John George, Freddie Cherry, Dan Brannigan. John George and Freddie Cherry have been at the top the entire weekend. Dan Brannigan's a new one. David Hippensteel has made a move today, and Dan Miller fell back a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have a fight for that third place, and if you move up a little bit, those two in the top two are 3 points separating, so whoever wins that last one.
Yeah. I had a long talk with David Hippensteel today. This may be his last games. So he said he thought he announced it, but he said, because I probably said I thought, people aren't believing me. In the 60 to 64 division, Joe Ames is in first, David Powell in second, Tom Famery in third. I think the top two are the same as last night. Tom jumped from fourth to third. And he's just a good guy. Glad to see him up there. But it's still tight. Anybody could move up into the podium position, especially Stuart Swanson is only 12 points back.
Yeah, it's not much.
When we go to 55 to 59, John Kim, Vic McQuaid, Mike Egan. Again, the first two have been in here all weekend. Shannon McKibben was in the top three and has dropped down. But again, it is a 9-point lead for him to get back onto the podium. 50 to 54, Jamie McGarva, Sean Ramirez, Justin LaSala. These names have kind of been here. Sean jumped from fourth to second with one event to go. But Jamie's been there all weekend, but he only has 9-point lead. And the other two are tied for second, third.
Those are very, very close.
Yeah. So then we go 40 to 49. Jason Grubb in first, Robbie McCord in second, Robbie Perovich in third. Jason has not been in first all weekend. He's finally there going into the last event. He talked to me today too, and because the field is expanded, mistakes are amplified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that they have not had to deal with as masters athletes before. One mistake and you can drop to 27th. In years past, the furthest you could drop is 10th.
You also have room for a little bit more specialists sometimes that have more holes. We can talk about it when we get to someone like Paul Tremblay, who gets, yin and yang type of workouts. But you get that, right, with an expanded field where some of those athletes sometimes have great finishes and then lower finishes, and they just middle you a little bit sometimes.
Then 40 to 44, we have Jonathan Edel, Chicho Quesada, and Julian Cerna. Cerna and Edel have been going back all week, go back and forth all weekend. Chicho has been consistently in that top three, but I don't think he's taken the lead yet. So that's where we sit with that one. And then the 35 to 39, we've talked about Will a ton. Straight up savage. He would have to not show, and then Henry would have to win for that to happen. Henry Matthews, Stephanie Cossette is in third, and Stefan, and Bronislaw Alenkowicz is in fourth with only 7 points behind Stefan. I met Braun today for the first time ever in person. The man's head is bigger than my chest. He is a massive human being. And so funny. So we talked about, I talked about with somebody, he shaved off his hair. He used to have the little man bun kind of top thing. And I asked him today, like, why he shaved it. And he said, to make me faster on the run. And it didn't work. And I just cracked up. I thought that was hilarious. But the man can still Turkish get up an assault bike, right?
Oh, yeah.
So those are the leaderboards going into the last day. We have a couple battles going on that are going to be fun to watch. I think the action's going to be much faster and furious with less heats or less people in the heats where you could actually like see more. I don't know if they're changing the floor. I hope they change the floor tomorrow.
I doubt it. I think they'll just do one heat, but I don't think the layout will change much, sadly. It's a quick one tomorrow, 8-minute time cap again.
Yeah.
I mean, how many workouts have been at that time cap, like short time cap? It's been fun, but it's going to be a race. It's going to be, hopefully we can see who's in the lead and stuff. Like the workouts are like, they're great workouts. It's just, you can't see the race as much. That's the only issue. Yeah, I'm excited to see the last day.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to keep my mouth shut before the end of the weekend is over. Like, I just do. With that being said, it's been fun. There's been a lot of people there. There's been, it's just a different vibe than I've ever experienced at like the CrossFit Games. And to have this many top level masters athletes have been super cool. And they have great stories. And it's very family friendly. Like there are kids running around, there are dogs there. It's just a really good time for families to kind of hang out.
I think that's what I like the most. Like I love seeing, the masters. And then there was a video on at that CrossFit post, and it was like these little kids cheering for, I don't know, their grandpa, something. Maybe it's their dad, but probably their grandpa doing the workout. And it's just like the kids being so excited to watch, their parent or grandparent compete. That's what it's all about. It's super cute. It's like you said, it's family. It's these are, role models in our community for what can be done at that age and what's possible. So I've really enjoyed watching this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I've got to know a lot of people, and that's been fun. But I'm whooped, and I'm going to keep tonight short. So with that, thank you everybody for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notifier, leave some comments about what you think about the Masters coverage. We'd love to hear you. There were some appearances today. Don Fall did show up today. I got to talk to Sean Woodland, which was awesome. And he is really feeling the love from the community that he is back and was talking about how good that has made him feel. And I said, yeah, everybody needs to remember, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Absolutely.
And then when it's gone, you want it back. So, but he's doing awesome and really having a good time with it, and really excited for Rams football to start up in a week. So with that, we'll see everybody next time on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk, and maybe it'll actually be on a Sunday night. With that, we'll see you guys. Bye.